Hi, have you ever had a flat bicycle tire? Puncture repair can be done in a few simple steps. Stay tuned. My hope is that by the end of this video, you've learned the proper way of puncture repair. So the first step is to begin by removing the pressure valve and the cap that locks the air valve, and also the nut that holds the tube to the rim. Remember to keep these items safely, as we will need them along the way. So here are the items that we require: a bike pump, butter knives, pliers, scissors, sandpaper, puncture repair patches, contact adhesive, and a mark pen, or just a regular pen. Now we are going to go ahead and slightly lift the wheel and place something underneath so that the wheel spins freely, so that we can access the parts that need to be fixed. Remember to release your brakes. This will help while we are removing and reinserting the tube. Next, you're going to run your fingers round the wheel gently and slowly, checking for any thorns or nails or the cause of the puncture. Remember, this is a very important part of the process. Just get in there, and I think I found something, not so much, there. So this must have been the cause for my puncture. As you can see, it's a very small thorn. So identifying this helps in the puncture not reoccurring. Some people might just go ahead and fix the puncture and not look for the root cause of the puncture. So remember, this is a very important step in puncture repair. Tire removal is a technical process, but not hard. In this case, I'm using butter knives. You can also use the back side of your spoons. So just insert one butter knife and pull the tire up on the rim. And then you're going to use the other one to pry the tire on top of the rim and just go around like that. And once you've noticed the tire has loosened, now you can use your arms, both of your arms, to pull the tire away from the rim. And at this stage, it becomes easy. Then we go ahead and pull out the tube. Remember, when you're pulling out the tube, always start by removing the valve, just to avoid breaking the valve. The valve is a very delicate part of the tube and one of the most important parts. Do you remember the thorn that we found on the tire? How about if we have another thorn that broke inside? So this is also a very important part. So run your fingers inside your tire just to check if you have any sharp points inside. Run a dry cloth inside your tire, just wiping away the dust and the small stones, because also those can cause punctures. Remember, we want to be as thorough as we can in this process. So stay tuned and watch this video until the end so that you become a pro at this. Then we are going to inflate our tube. This is in preparation of us identifying the puncture. If your puncture is big enough, then you can already see where your puncture is. If it's a very small hole, like in our case, because you saw that thorn was very small, then you're going to need a bowl of water, and you insert the tube inside the water and check out for bubbles. Where you're going to have the puncture, you're going to see a burst of bubbles coming out. So just continue clearing the water and slowly checking for any puncture. Remember, sometimes you can have more than one puncture. So just be patient and be observant as you do this process. I think we have something. I think we've got our point of puncture. Can you see it? Let's go closer. There, you see the burst of bubbles? That's where our puncture is. So you're going to go ahead and dry that part and mark it with a pen, just so that you don't lose it. And once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and see if we have more punctures within the tube. Remember also to mark that part with a masking tape or with something that is contrasting, so that you don't lose that mark. Again, as I've said, just be thorough enough. Just go round and round checking if you have any other punctures in your tube, so that you don't end up fixing one puncture, then maybe you have others that are that you would not have known. Okay, so go ahead and wipe that part. Then we are going to roughen it using a sandpaper. This is done so that the puncture patch adheres better to that part and doesn't come off. After you've roughened it, apply some small contact adhesive. This normally comes with your puncture repair kit. Apply a little bit, spread it with your finger, then you're going to let it set dry for 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, we are going to cut the patch that we're going to attach, and you're going to peel off that shiny covering. Now you want to attach the puncture patch right in the middle of your puncture, right where the hole is. Make sure the patch is in the middle, and then you're going to apply some pressure so that it adheres perfectly. Go ahead and deflate your tube, and we are going to apply more pressure by pumping it. And also, you can also take the back side of your spoon or your butter knife, and you're going to run it through. Just run it through the patch, pressing it and spreading it so that we don't have any air bubbles inside. Now you're going to go ahead and inflate your tube, and we are going to be thorough as possible, and you're going to run the tube inside the water to find if there is no puncture anymore. The process we use to remove the tube is the same process we use to reinsert the tube. Always start with the nozzle. If that nozzle breaks, then you don't have a tube. So carefully reinsert the tube, the nozzle, through the nozzle hole in your rim, and now you're going to lay the tube inside the tire, making sure that you lay it facing up or in the right position as per the nozzle. You're just going to go around, just lay it gently. Then in the next step, you're going to see we are going to inflate the tube slightly, just so that it takes shape and it fits perfectly in your tire. But before we inflate our tube, we're going to make sure we replace the nut that holds the nozzle onto the rim, and also the valve, the air valve, and the nut that holds the air valve onto the nozzle. Then of course, go ahead and slightly inflate your tube. You don't want it to have too much air so that you don't end up pinching the tube. So now we are going to return the tire under the rim. We're going to use the same process. So just use a butter knife, dip it into your tire, then pull it back. And you're going to hold the first position while you pry the rest of the tire onto and under the rim. So just do it in small bits and pieces, and you can see your tire falling into place, just step by step up until you get to the last bit. We are just about done now. Lift your bike into position and reattach the V-brakes we had detached before and put pressure into that tire. And what remains other than taking your bike for a ride? My hope is that you learned something new today, or that you polished your puncture repair skills, and you'll do better next time when you face the chance of repairing your own puncture repair. If you did like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'm always thankful for your support. I'll see you in the next video.